The story begins at a bachelor's party where everyone looked like they had hella fun. We zoom to our main character holding a beer. He brings the beer lower and glared at a girl across from the table. It was a girl with long black hair who was conversing with her friends. Suzuki, mentioned someone. Hey Suzuki, said someone who came up behind him. This shocks him. His friend was explaining his love life and asked if he was listening. Suzuki apologized. He continues his story, but his friends tell him to shut up. Arata was talking about melons while his friend said his girlfriend also has melons. He talks about how melons aren't a big deal. Kokoa stood up, and this made the boys stare at her rack. Arata talks about her melons wanting to do something to them. His friend wants to as well, and Suzuki laughs along. Suzuki had never experienced a relationship not knowing what to do in those situations. He changed his image when he joined college watching too many glow-up videos. His buddies want to eat those melons, and his friend was crying as well as laughing, agreeing to his statement. Suzuki didn't like the atmosphere. He still had to blend in, not wanting to show he was a nerd before. Suzuki tried to banter, but it made people disgusted when he attempted to. His eyes were dead because he failed. His friends think he is being creepy and wonder if he has ever talked to females. He lies that he had one in high school. Arata says he thought he was a virgin with plain looks. His soul is crushed. Arata's friends thought that was a great insult. He laughs it off, but he doesn't belong with the group and despairs. Nature calls, he mentioned while standing up. He wanted to blend in. Yoshizaki was standing outside the door Suzuki entered from. He realized how cute she was up close, making him blush. His thoughts are wild, thinking she smelt great and looks amazing. She then goes back to looking at her phone. Suzuki realized he made her feel creeped out. He headed back to the tables, but he was just laughing along. He got drained by listening and said nature calls. He staggered back to the hallway he was in a moment ago. He saw Yoshizaki at the same place. Excuse me, you're Suzuki-san, right? She asked. He asked if she was Yoshizaki, and she said yes. After that, silence ensued. He told her it was nice having a bathroom close by when drinking booze, even though he just drank tea. Yoshizaki looked scared and told him she ran away. She says she is an introvert and parties ain't her thing. Suzuki didn't believe this because of her looks. Yoshizaki thought she was bothering him, and he said she wasn't. He told her he was also taking a break. The atmosphere is exhausting, isn't it? She asked. He agreed that he can't keep up. He talks about negative things about himself, laughing it off. Yoshizaki didn't think those negative things were true. She thought he had more style, saying she would stress what to wear. Suzuki thought she was just like him. She thinks she is ugly and that people think she is a country bumpkin. He knew the feeling because he is also one. He was shocked how fashion-orientated everyone was when he joined college. She felt him. She smiled, saying chatting with him is fun. She thought he was easygoing. She asked if they could exchange contacts. He exchanged. He smiled at his phone when he exchanged contacts, but someone called his name. Suzuki. You're after her? Arata asked. He tried to defend himself, but his friend called the group that he is hitting on her. He tries to deny it but gets flammed. People say he is a plain virgin, and there is nothing special about him. He is afraid, not knowing what to say while he is getting insulted. Arata maybe isn't a friend because he told him she is out of his league. Mr. Plain, he felt pain, attempting to laugh it off. He thought he could smile it off, until Yoshizaki appears next to him. Suzuki-kun is nothing like that, Yoshizaki said, trying to defend him. This makes him blush. She then becomes shy and asks them not to say those things. Silence ensued. People started flaming Arata. Now he became the bad guy. They locked eyes, and then Yoshizaki blushed and was sweating. When the event ended, everyone was outside, and someone told Suzuki that he shouldn't be close to her. It was a fat girl, which he replied he needed to thank her. The girl grabbed Yoshizaki's attention, and he thanked her. She giggled, saying she just blurted what she thought. He smiled. She asked whether that bothered her, but he was about to say something, but her eyes changed. Her friend called her to go. They said goodbye to each other, but then she came back asking for a favor. She didn't want to bother him because he didn't think she was bothering him. She started sweating, saying someone is following her. He asked, Does that mean it's a stalker? She agreed, which made him tell her to call the police. She wasn't 100% sure someone was following her, though. She wanted a favor since he was a guy. He said he would accept, but she stuttered, saying for him to pretend to be her boyfriend. She was red, and he was shocked. She exclaimed just walking side by side was enough, and he would make the stalker give up. His thoughts wandered towards her looks and accept her favor. She was enthusiastic, and he agreed, thanking him, bowing down to him because he accepted with a big grin on her face. They exchanged goodbyes. He waved, and she looked happy, thinking, I want you to smile like you did back then. At their college lecture, he was looking at Yoshizaki, acting proud that even though they're pretending to date, he is going out with her. His phone gets a notification that he got invited to a group chat titled BBQ. Arata was the leader telling him to come, because he made a mistake the other day for killing the mood with him. Suzuki says it is no big deal, but Arata puts his arm around his neck. He whispered, they're the only bachelors, and that it's their chance. He looked back at Yoshizaki when the lecture ended and she waved towards him, but our boy didn't know what to do. The day of the BBQ begins. People tell him he usually doesn't come to these events, and they said, let's stuff ourselves. Yoshizaki was trembling, holding her friend's arm tightly. Arata told him to check out Mai, telling them they will make a great match. He pushed him towards them while he told Yoshizaki they're preparing the meet. Suzuki realized Arata only likes cute girls and is just pushing him aside. He thought it was fine, thinking they were just friends, and people would assume he was single. He was preparing the veggies with Mai. He called her Ichihara and asked about her relationship with Yoshizaki. It was Yoshizaki's phone, and she apologized. Ichihara told them it's odd how it always happens. They suspected her ex-boyfriend. Mai was worried since a body was found near her place. Arata changed the mood by saying, it is nothing to worry about, then grilled some meat. Yoshizaki said it was ready, and Suzuki thanked her. She asks if he took notes on the history earlier. He said he did. She asked for them. Arata interrupted and said he will send her it. Arata and Yoshizaki were talking a lot at the table. He grabbed an onion and shoved it in his mouth. He spit it out immediately, thinking it was spicy, with tears dripping from his eyes. Yoshizaki laughed, saying it was a raw onion, and thought he was cute. He stuttered while attempting to say cute. Arata asks if he can't tell he ate a raw onion. He said it was his first BBQ. He tried to insult him by calling him a shut-in. Suzuki agreed, laughing it off. But Yoshizaki said she was also one. She says she likes manga, and said her favorite is Kamaru Negiro. Suzuki jumped with joy, also saying he likes it. Arata butts in when they talk about that manga. Arata wanted movie recommendations, and she said Philip Lynch making him jump once again. He talks all about that movie, but Arata calls him a nerd, making him sink down. He insulted Suzuki, calling him a nerd. He met in high school. He started bullying him about how he would change his appearance in college, and his style is weird, calling him desperate. He laughed it off. I totally read Kokoa-chan. His nerdiness will rub off on you if you keep hanging out with him. He laughed again, agreeing, looking upset. Yoshizaki attempts to change the mood, but the douchebag wants to see a movie, inviting her over. Masaki makes a group chat, inviting him over. People started insulting Arata, feeling bad for Suzuki. We laugh while looking at Suzuki. Suzuki started giggling as well. Arata despaired, asking what is funny. One of the people laughing exclaimed, he just was always going for Yoshizaki. Arata is pissed off if he is screwing with him. He exclaims whoever looks down on him will get off, while pouring a bottle of soda. Silence ensues for a while. Like you. You laughed, didn't you, Suzuki? He denies it. Douchebag starts to bully him. He apologizes. Fight for yourself, my boy. Yoshizaki grabs douchebag's shirt and tells him to stop picking on her boyfriend. This shocks both of them. Douchebag wants to end Suzuki. Everyone was surprised and asked many questions. What does she mean by that, Suzuki? Suzuki backs off, not knowing what to do. You never said you had a girlfriend. He responds with, she's not actually my girlfriend. I'm pretending so we can ward off a stalker. That is what he wanted to say, but he didn't know he was allowed to do that. The douchebag wanted answers immediately. He replied that they were going out. Douchebag starts telling her that Suzuki is perfect for her, always putting on a fake smile while he is a safe choice, said with a sarcastic tone. Yoshizaki was holding her cup, and then she poured the liquid all over the douchebag's head. The whole crowd is shocked. "You have no right to say that," she replied. Suzuki was going to reply with something, but douchebag slams the table, then pushes Yoshizaki, saying, "Don't screw with him." The crowd once again has no words. Suzuki kneels down to where Yoshizaki is. Douchebag grabs his shirt, blaming this all on him. Douchebag is jealous that he got to date her and that he should have just smiled. He told him that it's no excuse to hit a girl, and the others agreed. He looks furious, attempting to punch Suzuki for talking down to him, before his fist hits him. He got stabbed by an unknown person. Everyone's eyes widened. He was standing there asking Kokoa if she was okay. He wondered why she didn't answer him, telling her about the messages. He's definitely bad news. She wanted him to let go, but she couldn't overpower him and got dragged. Suzuki was staring at them with a blank expression. He didn't know what to do. He's scared. He wanted to cry for help until Kokoa said, "Suzuki, help me." His face looked like he was about to do something crazy while clenching his fist. He dashed to the stalker and grabbed onto his shoulder. He was yelling while pulling the stalker with him to the ground. He grabbed the knife and ran with Kokoa like some superhero. They put some distance between the stalker and themselves while running. Adrenaline was rushing throughout his body, wondering where he could receive help. The stalker caught up, holding another knife, slashing his left cheek. He still tried to run, but the stalker had long legs and kicked him down. The stalker got close and brought the knife down to his body. His life was flashing, and he needed to do something. He was yelling, "Ah!" while grabbing his knife and stabbing it in the stalker's stomach. He saw what he had done and looked into the enemy's eyes. The enemy dropped his knife. He killed someone, having tears in his eyes, while his peers were shocked.